Okay guys, I got a 2005 Town & Country here at Chrysler. We're going to be doing brakes and rotors on the front end. So I want to show you how to do those. Let's get started by jacking her up in the air and let's get a wheel off. Okay, so we got the tire off. It's up in the air and the tire off. So now before we do anything else, go to your brake fluid canister, take off that lid and leave it off. I'll explain more later. The amount of fluid in there is going to look low if you need brakes. We don't want to change. We don't want to add anything to that, because when we add a thicker brake shoe instead of a thinner brake shoe, we're going to be compressing the master cylinder back to hold the thicker shoe around the rotor. So therefore the fluid's going to get pushed back here. If you see my other videos, you understand. On this one, we are going to change rotor and brakes, not just the brake shoes. So we're going to remove the caliper here off of here. There's a couple things you're going to need. We're going to need a 7mm in order to take off the caliper, or the outer part of the caliper, and then the caliper housing, we'll need to remove that. I believe that's a 21. We'll find out here shortly. Might be a 19. So these rotors here, as you can see, are chewed up pretty good, especially on the back. That's why we're going to change them both. So all right, let's go ahead and start on this caliper. Again, there's a 7mm Allen. If you just have an Allen wrench, you can put a regular wrench on it for more pressure to pull it off. But we do have the 7 here, so let's pull that off. Okay, so got both of those back. Now, if you have an issue with getting that bolt back, just the flathead you use to pull your little hubcap off, just go ahead and pry right in there, and you can push that bolt right back and out of there, just like that. And then you can get the caliper down and out. So now I may need 2 hands here. Let's go ahead and pop the outside of the caliper out. Okay, so that one fell all apart, and that's because the brakes are shot on this thing. And you can see where it's been dragging right there. So no shoe left on there. Let's go ahead and leave that back shoe in. Now we're going to take a C-clamp. We're going to put it right across there on the shoe and the back side of the caliper. And we're going to tighten that down slow. Don't go quick because it'll overspill in our reservoir up there. Just go nice and slow and push that fluid back to the reservoir. So here she is now. We're just going to go nice and easy. That's the reason I like to leave that back shoe on there, so it ends up that you have pressure and you're not pushing against the cylinder itself or inside the cylinder. I think you understand that. And again, just nice and slow, because if I do this fast, if I do it real quick like that, it's going to spill up there. So let's just keep moving this until we get that to squeeze all the way down. Okay, she's all the way down there. I actually went a little bit quicker than I should have, and that's exactly what I was talking about. She spilt a little bit on me, so that's fine. We'll clean it up. So now, if you want to jump ahead, if you're just doing the brakes, you can jump ahead a couple of minutes here. But if you need to take that caliper off too, stay with me. Okay, so all I've done is just pulled that shoe out of there. And sorry you keep hearing a bunch of okays, but I pause it so I don't have to cut so much. So cut and paste, whatever you call it. So now we're going to take this outer piece off, because we can then just pull this rotor right off. They slide out. So right here is our 21mm. I said I wasn't sure, 19 or 21. It is a 21mm. So let's go ahead and pull those 2 off and get this out of the way. Now the second bolt is off. We can set it down. What I like to do is keep both of those together. I'll lay a rag under here and I'll clean those with brake clean a little bit before I stick them back on. Now as far as the rotor goes, just grab hold of it and slide it right off. That's our bad rotor right there. So they don't cost too much to turn those if you have enough meat on them to turn them. And it looks like this one might have, but we ordered them anyway. They're not expensive at all. So this is just going to be a quicker and easier job for us. At this point, you can clean around here too as well. Get all that old brake dust off. Okay, so I got this little tray here I took out of a Hyundai Santa Fe quite a few years ago. Works good for a tray like this. So I just set everything in it and I can just clean it as I go. So let's go ahead and clean this up, clean that up, and then clean that up a little bit. It's amazing how much of that brake dust actually comes off here. Now that brake clean will dry, as it's drying it dries clean. And they say there is a little film on this, so if you're not using it for brakes, if you're using it for touchy parts, be careful and wipe off the film, cleaning up pistons and such like that. Which, that was the other job if you've seen that video. But in this case, we're doing brakes, so we're good to go. Okay, let me get them up out of here. Okay, so our nice new shiny rotor out with the old, in with the new. So we're just going to snatch it up and slide it up on there. Might need 2 hands. Nope, we're good right there. Now let's go ahead and put this piece back on and put our 2 21mm bolts back into place. Okay, we've got our new brake shoes here. They're sitting out. Here's a little grease that comes with it. You want to place that on the back of the shoe, right all over this area here to keep it from squealing. When you hit the brakes, they like to hit those rivets and shake and cause a squealing noise. So put a little on there, and moderation, just a little bit. A little bit goes a long way. Don't cake it on there because you don't want it to heat up and turn into an oil and drip around and get on your rotor and your shoes. Just a little bit. Okay, so now we got the grease on there. The one with the little spring tab there is going to go towards the back and inside the caliper. Might need two hands to do this, but yeah, I do. Okay, and we're going to set the other shoe on the front. Our first one's in the caliper, and now we will set it down and push it into place. Just like that. And now we can put this clip on. I like to run the bolts a little bit first just to keep it up there. Okay, now we have the bolts just in 1 or 2 threads there. We can place this. It's just going to go right up against there just like that. I hope you can see that. I'm going to have to use 2 hands here, but it just sits up against that, and then they're going to pop into these holes. I'm going to have to push this back into it. There you go. So it just sits up against that, then push this and push the caliper that direction and snap it in. Now let's tighten up our 7s back here. Okay, so now we're at the point we need to bleed the brakes. No, we don't. Why? Because of what we did with that C-clamp. By pushing that piston back, we will not be bleeding these brakes, and they don't need to be bled. Here's your next step. Throw your tire on, throw the hubcap on, drop the jack. Get inside the vehicle. Make sure you close the lid on the master cylinder. If it needs topped off at this point, now you can top it off. I have the other side to do, so if you're doing the other side, do this next step last. Do your other side first. Then put the lid on, get in the vehicle, press the brakes super slow 3 times to the floor. Then start up the vehicle and push them 3 times again super slow to the floor. From the top of the pedal to the floor, you want to be about this quick. About that fast, about 4 seconds to hit the floor. Do that 3 times. Start your vehicle, do it 3 times again, and you won't need to bleed these brakes. You'll be done. That's it. So I hope this video helps you out. Please click like, please click subscribe. Click on my name underneath this video for all my other how-to videos, including a bunch on this Town & Country. That's a new strut. So as always, guys, enjoy.